Tell me what a D notice is.
Well, a D notice is it used to be called a DSMI, a MA notice, a Defence Advisory Notice. And this is an advisory notice from the government to say, yeah, don't talk about that in the media because, yeah, it'll be bad for our defence. And there are instances where these work, and they're a good thing. For instance, there was a D notice on the media in this country reporting on how our troops in Iraq were avoiding roadside bombs. That's a good thing. You don't want the opposition knowing how we're avoiding their tactics. But there was also D notice on well, when the Skripals were poisoned, as you would know, there was a D notice immediately within 24 hours, I think, on the media mentioning the name Pablo Miller or Orbis Business Intelligence. This is curious, isn't it? Do you know anything about Orbis Business Intelligence, Margaret?
I do. British intelligence is playing quite a role in so many of the things we've been discussing. First of all, I guess they hope we're stupid. It was like, I remember, so Putin was they're about to start the World Cup. He's trying to put on a show for the world. So he's going to kill a spy that he traded 10 years ago.
With a Russian sounding nerve agent. Come on. James Lemazurier fell out of a window. He's the head of the White Helmets. I'm not saying anything, but he fell out the window. Why is it whenever there's a Russian person or anything connected with Russia, you just know it's Russia? It's either polonium or it's Novichok.
Well, Missouri, how do you pronounce his name? Missouri?
James Lemazurier. He's the guy who founded the White Helmets.
Yes, a construct of British intelligence. And there's so much we could talk about, but I do want to mention the OPCW whistleblowers, the Organization for the Prohibition of Chemical Weapons, and these brave people who've come forward to say not only were there no chemical weapons attacks in Douma, Syria, but there were dead people. That means people were killed for show and were killed in order to help start a war. And this gentleman who's now dead, I don't know. Well, I'm sure once it came out, they had to get rid of him because he knew or he orchestrated people being killed. I mean, that's
the theory. I don't know whether this White Helmets. I don't know whether it was set up with the best intentions or whether it was something that then went bad or was set up for nefarious intentions. But what I do know is it's not the saintly organisation that we've been told, and it's not the saintly organisation that deserved a bloody Oscar. Because some of these people, when you actually hear the reports from Syrians themselves, from on the ground Syrian people, they will say to you, no, they're with the terrorists. And then when we saw the liberation of Aleppo, I've seen the footage. The White Helmets base is right next door to the Al Nusra headquarters they're working hand in glove. So you've got to ask what the hell is going on over there. Operation Timber Sycamore is something that you'll be aware of that our media seemingly have never heard of. We've been trying to overthrow the government of Assad for 7 years, and all of these things, it looks like, it's all circulating around this OPCW, the White Helmets, Pablo Miller, the Christopher Steele, Orbis Business Intelligence, all of these things. It all seems as if they're all based around the same.
They're related. They're all related to Russiagate.
Yeah.
Hillary Clinton, her connections with U.S. intelligence, they were spying on Trump, and I think that is the root of the Russiagate, which is a tremendous fraud. They use that against Bernie Sanders. Russia wants him to win.
And he played into it.
I was talking about how, I'm against Putin, and I'm like, dude, come on. But, I'm sorry, I forgot your question. I
was saying how they all do seem to be, it all does seem to be centered around Russiagate. You're right, because Pablo Miller was the man who allegedly, Christopher Steele was the guy who apparently put together this P dossier that started the Russiagate thing off back in 2017 when BuzzFeed published it when everybody else wouldn't touch it. And then obviously he was the handler, I believe, of Sergei Skripal, former MI6 guy. You know, there's obviously some sort of story here that we're not aware of, and certainly the media are just staying well clear of it. And also, I might add, you mentioned the great people who are releasing stuff about what happened with the OPCW. They're attacking anybody telling the truth as well, and it's despicable, that is. What do you think's happened here? Because I've been trying to get my head around it, and it seems like that there has been a false flag in Syria of some kind. We don't know who's done it and why we've gone with this narrative, but it certainly seems like they're covering up for something, because these people died, and they died somehow and were then moved, by the look of it, to this place, and then this whole construct happened. What do you think has happened with all this, and how it connects with Russiagate?
Well, I think Russiagate is an invention of Hillary Clinton started it. Because she's so stupid and such a stupid politician, and instead of just being Secretary of State, she decides to help her husband, this Bill Clinton Foundation, and using her private email server instead of the State Department server, which means you're hiding something. And I think she spent most of 2016 worried about her legal troubles. And so she decided to create dirt on Trump because her dirt was going to come out. And so these people, the Christopher Steele's and this Professor Mifsud and people in British intelligence who were involved in spying on these low-level people in Trump's campaign to try to connect them with Trump. All of these, the Australian, who's the Australian guy who entrapped
Alexander Downer?
Yeah. So that's the origin of Russiagate. And then Trump wins. And they also did it because they didn't trust him. Trump was, during the campaign, he was saying things that were very disturbing to the surveillance state. He was talking about opposing regime change wars. He didn't mean it. He was talking about opposing trade deals. He didn't really mean it, but they didn't know that, and they couldn't trust that he was not going to, in fact, do the same thing other presidents did. And that's why they wanted to have dirt on him. And of course, Russiagate's very useful every time they want to stop Bernie Sanders. So suddenly they say Russia wants him to win. And then they walked it back a couple of days later and said, well, actually, it was kind of overstated. But then the damage is done. Especially when he
I find it hilarious that they'll do that. I mean, Bernie came out and said, "Stop it up, just back it up, Putin," and played into the narrative. And then you've got Donald Trump making a tweet saying, "Well, they're my intelligence services, and none of my intelligence services are saying that they're trying to prop up Bernie Sanders. So why aren't they telling me? Why are they telling the press and not me?" So you can, it makes Trump look good, doesn't it?
It did. I couldn't believe Trump made more sense than Bernie Sanders did.